we first meet Lena Donahue, she is living in Brooklyn, New York, and she's a travel writer. And the reason she's a travel writer is because she has no desire to ever settle down again after a great betrayal that happened in the only home she's ever known. So the transformational journey we see her go on all begins when her father becomes ill, and she needs to return to the only place she's ever considered home, but no longer does. And she doesn't just have to return there, but she has to face the betrayal that she never had resolved before. So the transformational journey has as much to do with forgiveness as it has to do with understanding her past and what really is home. Is this something that's given to us, or do we define it for ourselves? And it is about the journey she must take from the kind of woman she has become since the betrayal to the woman she must become in order to help her ailing father. I've always been fascinated with the role that memory plays in our lives. And my master's degree is in pediatric nursing, and my specialty was in closed head injuries. And so I've always tried to understand how family dynamics change and move around someone who is the same person, and yet they are completely different because of whatever has happened with their memory or their thinking or their brain. And so this novel grew out of years of that kind of wondering. And along the way, I learned about this term called ambiguous loss, which is when you lose someone, but they're still there with you. And so I answered the questionings about that in the same way I answer a lot of my questions, and that's by telling a story. And that's where this story came from. I don't like to tell my readers what to take away from a story, because I believe that stories are a living thing and that they come to mean different things to different people. So I love for people to take anything I'm writing about and turn around and ask themselves what the poet David Whyte calls the beautiful question. And we can turn around and ask ourselves the question that maybe the story is asking of us. And a lot of that in this book is about memory and how memory defines us and how memory forms our families and how we believe certain things, and then we start to talk to other family members and they might remember it differently, and how that makes us who we are, and we can turn around and maybe look at our own stories a little bit.